Hello, Serge here from the backyard driving range. All right, we have a really good question came in today. This comes from Lee Kruger, and Lee says, I have been following your swing and have produced good results. There is only one problem, and that is the right knee as I start the downswing. The bump is there, and recently found myself moving the right knee forward before I hit the ball. In quotation marks, do I hold the knee steady until the exact time I hit the ball? End of quotation marks. It seems to work sometimes, but I would like that question answered if possible. Okay, again, Leland Kruger. Okay, Lee, great question, and here's your answer. Basically, if you watch a lot of golf today on TV, wherever you watch the tour players and good players, you're going to see a lot of left knee movement, and they basically, because they're rotational and deep, the first thing they do is they fire, and that knee is way past the ball even before impact. So that means they've cleared their hips, they're coming back, and then they're into what I call lag, drag, hold, block. All right? So they're firing it. And so if one is very visual, and you got players that you're playing with at your club or watching these people on TV, your mind could start wrapping itself into your mind's eye, can start seeing that. So what is PPGS? What do I say many times about the difference between PPGS and the rest of the world as far as the moment of impact? We are behind the ball where almost everybody else is ahead of it. They are ahead of it because, as I just said, because they're swinging in deep, they've got to get the club back around in front of them. To get the club back around in front of them, so they can swing around towards the ball at the aim, and on the aiming line, hopefully, they have to snap their left hip, and many of them think that snapping their left hip in their leg and locking it up creates speed, okay? All that's going to very likely create is knee problems, okay? So, and poor shots, because as soon as you turn that hard, you're always going forward. I think it's pretty easy. Line up something on the background with my head back there, on the background back there, and watch. If I take a big turn here, I just do this. I mean, I think, and just looking at my shadow's moving about that much, okay? Minimum. And so that means I'm getting ahead of the ball. And so they have to fire the knee to get the hips out of the way so the arms can come around them, okay? And hopefully get down somewhere near the line and down the line with that, what I call lag, drag, hold, block. I guess that could simply say they're coming over the top, right? Because if I'm doing it from this angle, I'm doing like this, they come around, see that? Whereas we're going to stay put a little bit longer until impact before I truly fire the right knee. All right, it's started to move a little bit, but at impact, I think you'll find that my right foot is pretty much still on the ground. All right, it might be starting to roll over to the inside, but it's certainly not going to be up in the air this much as you see many of the modern players today that are rotational players. So if I come in here, we're behind the ball. So if I fire my right knee my right knee, which is going to pick up my right foot too fast, we can't make the peak performance golf swing because you'll be falling backwards because your foot's not there to stabilize you. So we have to hold it a little bit longer. And in reality, it's simple. Just if you skip a rock on a lake, you don't skip a rock by doing that. You're just going to stand here and you're going to skip it and you're going to push off, but it's a push where it's a soft push, creates the bow in the body, and you throw it through. And then as your arm gets to a point back there, everything is, your right foot is pushing up, as well as the fact when you swing forward into the catcher's mitt down the line, your right knee, your right foot, your right knee, your right are pushing up, and your hips starting to turn, and together with the club going that way, and your head swinging up and standing up, everything is pulling you up to your finish. But you have to be at and behind the ball at impact. So the shoulders will come down square, the knee will be quiet. See, I'm going to come in the impact, I'm going to be right about here. I'm going to hit it, but my knees moved a little bit, but it hasn't fired, and the foot hasn't, so to speak, exploded off the ground like it needs to. Okay, so we're going to be a lot more quiet. Okay, that's about as slow as I can hit one right there. All right, I'll try to speed it up just a little bit more. Naturally, I hit that a little bit thin, you can tell by the sound. All right, we'll do that one more time. Okay, and then we'll go to full. So we are behind the ball. That means the head goes backwards a little bit because when we bump, as you said, The bump goes this way, it creates a little bit of bow in the body, which makes the spine go backwards. Dr. Armstrong calls that the secondary spine angle tilt. Then it goes back just a little bit, which allows the club to get back to where the left arm and shaft and the triangle is all here with the club base, the shaft pointing basically at the hip, center of our body. We hit the ball, we swing into the forward mitt and up the tree, and I mean, impact's about 1/2 of 1,000th of a second is what they measured, 0.0005, and after that you explode. Okay, a good drill that I like to think to do this is I just put my hand here like where impact would be, and I just practice this. Come here, and once I slap my hand, bam. Slapping the hand is like explodes the right foot, the right knee, the right hip and shoulder. As you can see, there's a little bit of turn. The weight's going to the inside of my foot. You can see my ankle starting to move in a little bit, the lower leg pulling my ankle in, but it is not up in the air like we see a lot of golfers do today. Bam, and I'm through. Okay, so hopefully this answers the question. We are behind the ball, and so the right knee, foot, and hip cannot fire. It starts as slow firing. It's kind of going, but bam, impact, and then it explodes to the finish. All right, so we have to be behind the ball, which means the foot still has to be pretty much in the downward position, maybe roll to the inside, and then bam, it just explodes to the finish because we swing up to the tee finish. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. And now you can see that bump getting even more efficient, more powerful, so you'll be hitting much better shots. Okay, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.